Do you read Sutter Cane? What's going on, friends? Logan Myerz here for Cinephellas.com, back doing more 31 Days of Horror. Tonight we're going to be talking about the final entry in the Apocalypse Trilogy, John Carpenter's Apocalypse Trilogy, or the first film being The Thing, the second one I just reviewed, Prince of Darkness, and the final entry, In the Mouth of Madness. So In the Mouth of Madness came out in 1994. I actually didn't watch this until I was in high school, so I watched about, 10 years after it came out. And, this is a movie I watch year-round. This is probably one of my top 4 John Carpenter flicks. It's that damn good. The soundtrack, the acting, the story, practical effects, the overall tone of the film. I just absolutely love this movie. Really excited to finally talk about and review the film. So let's get to it, shall we? Sam Neill playing John Trent. Beginning of the film, we see him being locked up in a psych ward. He's crazy. Has crosses on his skin, and we don't know what exactly happened to him and why he turned crazy, but essentially the film starts off with the end, and then it tells the rest of the story leading up until the end of the end of the movie. So, if that makes sense, so the beginning is the end of the movie, and we basically try to figure out what happened to John Trent's character. So in the film, Sutter Cane is the massive, big-name author. It's much like a Stephen King kind of character. He puts out these books, everybody's obsessed with them, people are going crazy. Early on in the film, John Trent's at a diner, and this guy breaks in with an axe, and he's like, "Do you read Sutter Cane?" So he does some research on it and finds out that Sutter Cane, they can't find him. His publishing company is on the lookout for him. They need to find him so they can release his final book called In the Mouth of Madness. But they can't find him, so John Trent's character kind of comes into play. He's really into these novels, and he's trying to figure out what happened to Sutter Cane. So he cuts out the covers of all these books, and it forms a map of essentially where Sutter Cane lives, which is up in New England. I think it's Vermont or something in the movie. But he sets out to find this guy so he can get the last novel. So we have Julie Carmen playing Linda Stiles. She was in Fright Night 2. No stranger to the horror genre, but she sets off with John Trent. She works for the publishing company, and they're going to find this guy. And that's when things really start getting fucking weird in this movie. So they're trying to find Hobbs End. They come across it, and just a lot of weird things happen. There's this creepy sequence with this young kid, but they look back and it's an old person with white hair, and it's just really fucking creepy looking. And it's, late at night, and they see this character in the rear view mirror, and just a very traumatizing sequence. One of those scenes that's really stuck with me over the years, with them showing up to Hobbs End, it's when all the crazy shit starts happening. They check into this hotel. The lady that works there is Happy Gilmore's grandma. I don't know her name, but just thought of Happy. They're staying at this hotel, and then that's when you see this older woman's character. She turns into an octopus, and she's tentacles and fucking awesome practical effects. I'm this is in the same caliber as The Thing, in terms of practical effects and making these monsters. They're so fucking eerie looking. It's so well done. This hotel scene, it's one of my favorite shots in the movie, is this old woman with those tentacles. She has an axe, and she's killing her husband. With John Trent and Linda coming across these characters, they're not really sure if Hobbs End, if this is a real place, or if they're maybe turning a little mental, Everything they're coming across, they're trying to, grasp, is this reality or is it all bullshit? It's all in their head. They do come across Sutter Cane. He does really have this really great presence on screen, and it really sets up more scariness and monsters coming out, and they need to get the fuck out of there. But they need to get this, final novel of his. So when they're in Hobbs End, these are the top of the line practical effects. Really great shots and sequences of these different creatures and monsters from the books really coming to life, and them coming across it and then trying to survive. And eventually, after they come across Sutter Cane, I'm not going to say what happens, but them trying to get out of this place, it's they can't, they're trapped in Hobbs End. They try to leave, and the car ends up coming back into the shot where they just took off from. So the end of the film is probably one of my favorite aspects of In the Mouth of Madness. Seeing John Trent and seeing what he's been through throughout this film, through going to Hobbs End, coming across Sutter Cane, coming across the creatures and trying to survive. But really, you see the downfall of this character, and I absolutely love Sam Neill. I think he is such an underrated actor. It's, in terms of, the horror genre, he's had a lot of great roles. I loved him in Event Horizon, especially in this character, John Trent. He goes to a very dark place in this role, in this performance, and one of the best performances in a John Carpenter film as well. And this is a movie that kind of went unnoticed and went under the radar. A lot of people don't know about it. It's more of a cult classic, and it's just one of my favorite horror flicks to watch during the Halloween season. But the very end of the film is so fucking crazy. You see John Trent going into the movie theater and seeing the movie about his life and what he went through in Hobbs End, and him just laughing like a maniac, just like flipping out. And you guys probably seen a lot of the memes online, like me watching horror movies, and it's a picture of Sam Neill, John Trent in the theater in the mouth of madness, eating popcorn and smiling, and just a great shot, a great sequence, and a great way to end this film. Watching In the Mouth of Madness, for the past, 15 years, I just love revisiting this. I notice something new every time I watch it, and I fall in love with the movie more and more each time. Just with John Carpenter, his direction in this movie, the acting, the phenomenal story. I love the script in this movie and how the story unfolds throughout the movie. Just the cast is phenomenal. The practical effects, again, are top-notch. Next to, The Thing. All the creatures and the gore and the blood was really well done in this movie. And not to mention the final chapter in the Apocalypse Trilogy, showing the end of the world and Hobbs End and all that. Just a really fantastic movie. So if you guys have not seen In the Mouth of Madness, you should definitely check it out this Halloween season. Overall, I'm giving John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness from 1994 a 4.5 out of 5 Sutter Cane hair pieces. So what do you guys think of In the Mouth of Madness? What is your favorite part? What's your favorite film in the John Carpenter franchise? What do you think of old Sutter Cane? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. This is Logan Myerz signing out from old Hobbs End up here. Hopefully I don't run into Sutter Cane. Until the next review in 31 Days of Horror. Cheers!